we have an incredibly important topic to talk about today. This is a very important video, and I encourage you to take it quite seriously, because the things you learn today might just change the course of your relationships and the course of your life forever. You see, life is essentially just a series of choices, right? If you really think about it and boil it down to the fundamental facts, the outcome of your life experience is essentially based on the day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, and year-to-year choices and decisions that you consciously or even unconsciously are making. But some decisions are just simply weightier than others. And it's these decisions that we really need to be careful about making, because it's these decisions that ultimately influence the outcome and the course of our lives. So now that I've got you thinking about decision making, the question I want to ask you in this video is, what is the single biggest decision you could ever make in your entire life? Some of you might argue that it's the job or the career path that you end up dedicating the majority of your time to. Others might say that it's the degree, whether or not you decide to go and study at university after school. And the OGs will know that the biggest decision, right, the prime time decision that one will make in their life is PS4 or Xbox. I can see the boys fighting. You're all wrong, right? Because the single biggest decision that you could ever make in the entire course of your life is who you decide to choose and stay with as a romantic partner. It is the person that you love the most, the person that you are willing to dedicate the most of your time and energy to. It's that person that is going to have the most remarkable or detrimental effect on the entire course of your life. And you need to make this decision incredibly carefully. The harsh truth for many of us embarking on new relationships is that so often we do not seriously consider the implications of how long that relationship is going to last. And not only that, but how much damage control is going to be a result of that relationship. People don't realize that recovery from a toxic, abusive relationship doesn't even just take months. It can take years at a time. Think about all the things that are going to fall apart in your life in that time. Your career success, your goals, your ambition, your fitness, your health, your relationships with the people you love the most. Think about how long it's going to take for you to recover from that in order to get back to living your full potential in all aspects of your life. And the sad fact is that if you end up deciding that you do want to stay in this relationship, even though you know it's not good for you, you aren't just going to waste 5, 10, 15 years recovering from a toxic situation. You are going to spend the entire rest of your life, my friend. You're going to spend the rest of your life recovering, the rest of your life never fulfilling the potential that you knew that you had inside you, purely because you have somebody in your life that is bringing you down at every step and turn. Do you want to seriously get to the end of your life and think, I literally wasted all my potential, all my talents, all my dreams, purely because I chose the wrong person to begin with? That is absolutely terrifying. I don't know, at least for me, that is scary. And then you'll spend the entire rest of your life blaming your partner for all the things that you never became. You'll never take ownership for the decisions that you made. You'll always look to that person and say, screw you for never allowing me to be the full, whole, talented person that I was destined to be. Now, I could give you generic reasons as to why this decision is so important, but why would I do that when there are currently two prime time cases, right? There are two stories that we all know, we've all heard, we've all been consuming in the media lately, and it's these two cases that literally give you all the proof that you need to realize that the relationship you pick can either make you happy and successful, or it could completely destroy you, your career, your self-confidence, and your entire life. And in the whole case of Will Smith, right, I actually get a bit riled up thinking about this. It kind of pisses me off, because the simple truth is that we all loved Will Smith, right? We loved the guy. We respected him. For a lot of young men, Will Smith was a hero. He was like a fatherly figure to be looked up to, respected, and almost role modeled after. And for lack of better terms, so please excuse my childish descriptions here, but Will Smith went from hero to simp almost overnight. Because as a lot of men might know firsthand, and if you do know this, I'm sorry, King, it's a hard one to experience, but when we give love and trust and a relationship to a woman that is unfaithful and not to be trusted, the self-respect of that man dies with him. Once that self-image, once that self-respect is tarnished, that destroys you from the inside. And it's such a hard destruction to recover from. In the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, right? We all know that Johnny Depp ended up winning that lawsuit. But the question I have is, at what cost did he win? For those of you who watched the case, you'll know that the case was never about money. It was always about reputation. And in my humble opinion, the reputation of both of these actors, it doesn't matter whether you're on Team Johnny, Team Amber, it doesn't matter. The respect and reputation of both of these once loved celebrities has inevitably and obviously been tarnished beyond possible repair. They will never ever recover from what they went through, not only in this case and in terms of the public eye, but they will never be the same as people again. And the sad reality is that even though these are two people that have all the money in the world, there are so many relationships out there that are financially battling. So many couples are out there living on paycheck to paycheck. And when they get into a really toxic and abusive and non-compatible situation with each other, they are forever financially damaged, right? They get into a divorce court, they get with lawyers, and all of a sudden their once thriving careers that they had spent years building for themselves suddenly crumbles around them, and they have to start at step zero simply because they chose the wrong person to trust. Everybody is a loser in an unhealthy situation. Nobody leaves a bad relationship unscathed. And that is the point I'm trying to get across to you. Infidelity, lack of trust, abuse, trauma, this doesn't only just damage the people involved, right? The sad reality is that a relationship is so seldom between the person or the two people that get involved in the relationship, but it affects the loved ones of everybody around that situation. The families get broken up. The friendships suffer. Not only are you hurting yourself and potentially hurting the person you're with by being with them, you might be hurting your mom. You might be hurting your dad, your sister, your friends that love you and want the best for you. You might be hurting them. So when you get into your next relationship, don't just think of yourself. Don't think of the butterflies you're getting or how you feel or how amazing it is. Think about your family, think about the people that are closest to you. How will this relationship affect them? And you might be wondering, okay, now you're getting really heated about this. You're getting really deep into this whole topic. Why are you getting so emotionally involved? And it's hard to admit, it takes a lot of I don't know. It's very difficult to come on camera and talk about this kind of stuff, but I've been there. I'm talking about the case of Will Smith and Amber Heard and Johnny Depp and everything, but the sad reality is that I too have been in that situation. I have been in a relationship where I loved somebody with my whole heart and I trusted them and I gave them, or at least I believe I gave them the world and all of me. I tried to be the best man I could be for that person. And as a result, I ended up being cheated on and I ended up being really hurt for a very, very long time. If I'm being honest with you guys right now, it took me years to recover from that. Sometimes I still think about it. It still pops up every now and again. I've been there. And when I say it had such a significant impact on my life, it really is an understatement. Like I said, I loved somebody with all my heart and I brought them into my family, into my world. It's a crazy experience. And I just never want to see any of you go through that because you deserve so much better. And the sad thing is, if you've ever been through a traumatic or toxic relationship, you may have forgotten this. You may have forgotten that you're actually a worthwhile human being. You are worthy of love and intimacy and respect because, as they say, the cliche cheesy quote, hurt people hurt people. All right, enough of the sob stories. Let's get to the meat of the video. Let me give you some actual practical advice and some value in how you can potentially avoid the situation altogether, how you cannot end up like Niall. You don't have to end up like Johnny Depp or Will Smith. I want you to end up in a healthy relationship. And luckily for you, I have the exact method to do this. If you're willing to be honest with me here, bro, be damn honest, right? Because I know this is just universally truth for most men, right? Be honest with me. The problem that we experience as men is that so often we are shallow. Bros, we have to admit the fact we are shallow. We go for looks, and if you're like me, you end up chasing the red flags, right? You see a red flag that might tickle your fancy in a weird way, but you see the red flag and you gun for it. But you don't realize that you're actually acting on past trauma and past relationships. People so often go for what is comfortable to them, what they know, and not what is actually good for them. You are getting into the wrong relationships simply because you are choosing based on your feelings and your eyesight. And this is the detriment. It is the downfall of most men. And we know this to be true because you don't actually think, okay, what is good for me? What kind of woman would actually benefit my life? What kind of woman is going to make me happy, successful, fulfilled, and all of the good stuff, right? We don't think about that. We think about, wow, she is gorgeous. She's beautiful. She smiles at me. I have little tingles in my stomach and I feel great around her. Boys, we have to evolve. We got to get better than this. And this is exactly how we get better right now. And I mean right this second. get out a piece of paper or open your laptop, get your phone out. I want you to write down a list. And this might be potentially the most important list you ever write out in your entire life. And on this list, you are going to write between 5 to 10 non-negotiable traits and characteristics of not the things that you kind of like in women, right? This is not going to be like, oh, I kind of like her when she has nice nails or when she's kind of sweet. No. This is not things that would be nice to have. These are going to be 10 things that are absolute requirements. And if the woman that you meet, if you meet a woman and she does not completely identify or check off each of these non-negotiables, you are not going to allow her into your life. You know what? Actually, let me help you out by giving you some examples of things that are on my own personal non-negotiables list. Maybe it'll give you a little bit of direction on the things that maybe you might also want to look out for when choosing a partner. Now, you might be thinking, okay, bro, like I've written the list, but why are we doing this? Like, what's the point? You know, like, why am I even making this list to begin with? You buy a car, or your family suddenly buys, let's say, a Polo Vivo, right? And up to that point, you've never really considered Polo Vivos, never really thought about it that much. But as soon as you get the car, right, and you start driving on the road, you're excited, like, wow, new car. But all of a sudden you start realizing, holy shit, there's a lot more Polo Vivos on the road than I initially thought, right? You start noticing, oh, there's one. Oh, there's another one. There's like 5 of them. Like, oh, did I buy a common car? And I mean, if you bought a Vivo like me, you did buy a common car, bro. But the point is you start seeing the car everywhere you go, right? Wouldn't you like the same thing to be happening when it comes to women, right? Because the truth is you so often go out into public, you might be going to parties or get-togethers and you're meeting women, but your radar or your navigation system isn't set. So you're meeting all different types of women with all different traits, but you might be bringing in the wrong ones with the wrong characteristics and the wrong traits. But if you're looking for a Polo Vivo, right? Or, for example, if you're looking for a woman that is loyal, that is honest, warm and loving and kind, just like the Polo Vivo, you'll start to see these women out in public. You'll start to almost cut through the bullshit. You'll be able to see a woman and say, okay, cool. I can immediately tell she's not going to match up to this quality. Bye-bye. And that's a beautiful thing because now you're not wasting time on the people or the Polo Vivos that you shouldn't be test driving. That is a really bad, that's a terrible example, but you get what I mean. And when you do finally meet this woman, something clicks in your mind and you immediately know, yes, this is the woman that I know would be good for me. This is the woman that I'd like to dedicate time and energy to. And that is a beautiful thing when you know exactly the kind of person that you want to be attracting into your own life. But wait, lads, do not click off this video. There's one very important step that you need to finish with. You are going to flip the page, you're going to start a new document, and here we go. Boys, you are going to write a list of the things that you need to improve on as a man in order to be worthy and deserving of finding your ideal woman. How can you expect, you sitting there right now, I'm looking at you, how can you expect to attract a 10 out of 10 woman, the potential mother of your children? How can you expect to attract this high standard woman when you're a 2 out of 10? And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that in love, bro. If you sit and think deeply enough, we all know that there are things inside of us that need to be worked on. There are so many things that we can improve on as men in order to become worthy, attractive enough, and high value enough to attract the ideal woman into our lives. And this is the part where we are going to get this right. We are not going to be like the other dudes who are going to go out there and wish on a prayer for some good woman to come along. We are going to make ourselves good enough men so that we are worthy of love and that we are worthy of a good, healthy relationship. Let this list inspire you to always be taking action to become the man that you would want your son to look up to and say, that's my father. That is a strong, honest, loyal, kind, good-hearted man. And that is the man that you want to become. Not only to attract the dream woman into your life, because that's big. That's why you're watching this video. But it's not only because of that, bro. It is to become the man that you can look on with pride, with dignity, with respect. And isn't that the goal of every man? At least in my opinion, you want to look at yourself and think, I am the man and I'm so proud of myself for working on the best version of myself. Because the truth is, you really can. And by doing this, not only will you attract love and beauty and romance into your life, but you'll attract the kind of life that you could have only dreamed of as your younger self. So lads, don't be afraid of getting into relationships, right? Don't let this video be a warning to you that all women are horrible and they're going to ruin your life, or to the ladies that every man is toxic. That's not what I'm trying to get through to you. Put yourself out there. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. Allow yourself to experience love and relationships, because it's such a beautiful part of life. Not only is it the most important decision you'll ever make, but it can add so much value and love to your life that most other aspects like work, like career, like goals, they simply can't. So don't be afraid of love. Embrace it. But be careful, gentlemen, because the simple fact of the matter is that choosing a romantic partner is going to be the biggest decision and the biggest choice that you will ever make. So, choose wisely.